Hello, friends. This is Shantha, and welcome to Wednesdays with Shantha. We are excited to deep dive into each of the Bharatanatyam book chapters with the actual dances on each of the topic. I'm joined by my co host Sriya, who will be in discussion with Ram as we deep dive into these topics. Please enjoy this episode. Over to you, Shriya and Ram, for further discussions.
Thank you, Shantha, for the introduction. Now I'm going to continue, since you're not here, and have a discussion with Ram about his book and ask him a few questions.
Hey Shreya, how are
Hey
you?
Ram, how are you?
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you for
for
having
joining.
me.
Alright, so today we're going to talk about your book, Shall We Dance? And I have a lot of questions for you, but my
Okay.
first question is what was the inspiration for you to write this book and where did that come from?
Okay. So Shanta drilled me for about 25 sessions. So she's now passed on the burden to you. So thanks Shanta for doing the needful. So this book actually is a journey of about 7 years. Almost about 2017 when I started visiting temples. I was intrigued with the sculptures which was there in each of the temples. And that sculpture, I started digging into it and then said, okay, let me understand the science about it. There was much more than that. And then I found this book called Natya Shastra, which is a treatise of dance, which is what is referred to in the book. So quite honestly, it's like the internet or a rabbit's hole, one led to the other, and here we are.
That's awesome. So the title says Shall We Dance, but are there any other topics that you cover in this book besides dance forms?
Oh, that's interesting. So what we did is, I literally had a research for about 3 years, checked out in the market what's available for Bharatanatyam, and what we found is Bharatanatyam is literally about one out of the 8 dance forms from India, but it almost like gels with dance in India seems to be more synonymous with Bharatanatyam. It occupies, it's like the 80-20 rule. So it basically took that. But what I did find is amongst the books which are available in India, or for that matter even from the diaspora, they're all written by people who have been dancers and great dancers themselves. So it's the practical aspects of it. But then there is much more to it. There is a science of dance, there is a theory of dance, there is a framework for it. And then I went on while digging into it, found that there is a physics of sound which is part for music, and you're a musician yourself. So you will possibly relate to it. So song without dance, or rather, dance without a song doesn't even exist. So that is one thing we talked about. And then there is astrophysics, astronomy, and then the whole iconography of Shiva as Nataraja at Chidambaram, for which that's the title.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. It's really nice to see that this book encompasses lots of different topics like dance, astronomy, physics, and just regular culture and history. So, a little bit above this book, is this only available in a book format, or how else are people able to, I guess, receive this knowledge and receive the stories that you've presented in this book?
Oh, wow. That's a very loaded question. So, for starters, this book is available on Amazon. And later in the year, we're actually coming up with what would be called as a handbook for Bharatanatyam practitioners. But the way in which this whole particular format evolved was we said that we will not be doing justice if we just left as a book. So we started doing an audio podcast, which is presented by Shanta, your co-host, and then there is a video podcast which is also done. So every Sunday for the last 6 months, without fail, we have been doing a 10-minute or a 12-minute video podcast. And on Sundays, we have been doing a 5-minute or a 6-minute audio podcast, which is narrated by Shanta, again, your co host. So that is one way we thought we'll put it out. We created a portal and we are hoping to do something which is much more than that. If there is any intricate, more leading questions, I'll give you some more.
Yeah, that's nice to hear that it's accessible to all demographics in digital platforms, in physical platforms, as well as online, including video and audio podcasts. I think that makes it accessible to a wide audience. So, more about Shall We Dance?
Okay,
Sorry.
something more. Okay, so I think, we should let the cat out of the bag now. So I think we're also working on a mobile app which will be available. We are doing it as a soft release which will be on the 30th of March this year in California, working with a very dear friend and a Bharatanatyam guru called Shastri. So it will be inaugurated in a soft form. You will obviously be one of the beta testers for it. And then over the next 3 months, we will release those particular parts of the app, because we are recording some 480 videos, which are about 90 seconds to 120 seconds, because it's not possible to learn Bharatanatyam using an app. But it can be a good reference and a reminder for people who are practicing, and then it can be built on that. So it's got informational videos and instructional videos, if you like. We've broken it down into 26 chapters in that.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. So the audience for Shall We Dance, would you say that this could resonate with people who are also non-dancers or who are also not involved in the musical or dance space? Or do you think this would only be understandable or reachable to specifically dancers?
Oh, that's again a brilliant one. So this book is intended to actually put India in its performing arts out there for the diaspora, and also for anyone who's intrigued or has an inquisitive mind or wants to learn more about India from a part of the cultural identity. So India must be one of the few countries which is more a civilizational nation. So we basically thought it should be brought out for larger audience. So anyone who's interested in learning about India, anyone who's interested in learning about performing arts, anyone who are dancers, dance practitioners, for that matter, anyone who's curious. And it's a lovely book to have as a coffee table.
That's great. The only thing you need to read this book is curiosity, which is great.
That's correct.
So how else beyond the video, audio podcasting, the physical book itself, how do you plan on outreach and expanding your knowledge and your work throughout the country, or maybe even beyond this country?
Okay, do you want all the answers in this episode, or are we going to do one more? Because it's going to be too long.
Oh,
And I don't know whether your viewers will have the patience to listen to all of this in the same one.
I think we'll end with this one.
Okay. So what we ended up doing is we have broken out the app itself is in 4 forms. So the first one is we want to basically just bring out the app as what would be for people who just want to know what it's like. You'd go to an app store and download. So it would be available on App Store and Google Play in about 6 months' time, because we want to use the initial part for beta audience. Second stage is we introduce it with dance schools participating in it. So which means we have a subscription base which will be then extended to people who want to learn dance. But if you don't want to bother about learning dance, then for curiosity, you could be a normal person downloading the app. So this can then register with dance schools. So that would be part 2. So this would be like your university, it would be like an LMS, learning management system, which will connect the student with the teacher, teacher with the student, student with students, teacher with teacher. And then we got 2 universities. So this book is now a prescribed reading for 2 universities, one in US and one in Canada. We are working with the third one in UK. So that would be the second part of it. The third part of the app, what we are working on is, we are working to, so for example, like you, if you learn dance, there is a possibility that you will definitely be on stage. But for those friends of yours who learn dance but don't want to be on stage, but want to be using an academic accreditation for it, we are tied up with the 2 universities who, based on criteria which will be on certain completion of whether it's a 12 course credit or a 16 course credit, you could basically get an accreditation from those 2 universities, which is a minor in performing arts in Bharatanatyam.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's the third part. The fourth one, in line with what we were talking about before we started the show, we are using an AI and ML to basically, it's like a gaming app, right? You do some exercises in front of a television, it basically sees your posture, compares to what should be the way it's done, and then it will guide you to say where you are not doing it right. So we have structured that to be at the 4th level of it. We think it might still be about a year away from where we are on that to get that out in the market. But that's the 4 stages that we have.
That's great that you're making this book and the app of the same name, Shall We Dance, a knowledgeable and immersive learning experience for everyone involved.
Yep. Thanks a ton for having me.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you so much.
Practical demonstration of Karana 32, Gurnittam. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Practical demonstration of Karana 22, Ardhasvastikam. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hi friends, hope you all enjoyed this episode of Wednesdays with Shantha. Until next week, take care and have a great day.